So, what can supervisors do to encourage innovation? I think there's three main points to be raised here that are worth noting. First one is the key of proportionality. We've talked about that plenty of times. We've got a whole module dedicated to proportionality here. But proportionality is really important if we're going to make sure that the regulatory and supervisory barriers are as low as possible while still being doing what's necessary. So, going back and looking at that and making sure things are not disproportionate is a good start. Second area is to provide some sort of guidance to companies about some product areas that they could be pursuing to give them a little bit more regulatory certainty as they look to move into these spaces. When there's uncertainty about how you might respond to something down the road, then they're less likely to experiment in case they run the risk of tripping up and having to redo things unnecessarily at a later stage. So, as much as you can say, the better. Guidelines are good because you can revise and update them with experience, but also it's part of the conversation that helps you to say what you can say and for companies to then be able to move forward with a little more certainty in areas where you are in fact certain. It's just simply a matter of making sure they know. And there's examples of that on the slide where you can do that. You could look particularly at index-based insurance. There's other modules here that have talked about how that can be important and what good index-based insurance regulation would look like, areas where clarity is needed. You can also do it for mobile insurance. You can do it for micro insurance more generally to say, here's a category of products which we're going to treat in this particular way. So they're all things you can do to create that innovation. And then finally, we talked a little bit about pilots and sandboxes elsewhere. We're going to talk more here, but those sort of approaches that allow some sort of innovation in an experimental way are really, really useful. And being able to do that is important. If you have such a regime in place, then ask yourself also, is it being used sufficiently or is somehow it perhaps not being used because it's a little over engineered?